Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Welcome to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, with your host Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, our topic today is sex dolls. Sizes, kinds, preferably whatever has to do with a sex doll that we can get in 30 minutes. Now, last time we talked about cock rings. This is another fun way of bringing different things into your, a little variety, shall I say, into your sexual pleasures with you and your partner or by yourself. I mean, the dolls that they make are realistic, and you can pick what kind you want and how you want it, which is pretty cool. There are different sites out there, and one of the top sites is the Sex Doll Genie. There's also Sex Doll Love, which if you go on there, and we'll probably go through some of their dollies that are on there. Now, why? First of all, what are sex dolls? They are basically artificial people, and they're made to make companionship for you or sexual pleasure. You know, there are times where you just don't have somebody in your life, but you've gotten bored of masturbating. You want at least something that resembles a human being on the other side of that pleasure. And sex dolls are it. Now, we're all used to hearing about the inflatable sex doll, which is an old-time favorite doll, and I believe the only hole in it is their mouth. That is probably one of the first ones. Not very human-looking like, but nonetheless, for the times and when it was made, it actually did what it was supposed to. Now, there are all different kinds of dolls now. More high quality. You could pick your race. You can pick what sex you want. You could actually have it handmade for yourself. So, it is really interesting. And with bionics and robotics being a big thing nowadays, and how our technology has grown, these have grown with it. So that is something that is a plus. And as we talk later, we're going to go over we're going to go on one of the sites and just go down all the different options that you have and that you can pick. So this is pretty cool. I mean, there are a wide range of ethnicities, sizes, genders, even models that you want made to look like whatever character you want. What is your fantasy? Maybe it's something that you've been dreaming of and you want it made into reality. These dolls are just for that. And the pricing on them does range. And nowadays you can basically get a pretty good one for reasonable, but obviously the more money you spend, the more it does. I mean, there are dolls out there now, if you go onto the internet, that actually interact and will talk to you. Their mouths move and everything. So it's a little scary when a warm body has been taken over by a robot just to get your sexual pleasures off. However, you can look at it as that doll will do as you please, when you please, and how you please, because you can put them in any position you want them to, and they don't talk back for the most part unless you program them to. So, and obviously that is one of the higher end dolls, so really think about that. And another thing that they do with regards to, I know that's, I said that it doesn't take the place of a warm body, but I believe nowadays that the sex dolls come with a warming stick where you could warm the area, the vagina, the anal, anus, whatever you want to call it, the butt, the mouth. You can warm them up now so that you get that warmth in there as well as the body itself. Now, why buy a sex doll? Well, there are a lot of reasons. The most common one is loneliness and curiosity, which usually comes in a combination together. Now, mind you, you may be lonely now and you buy one of these dolls and you're getting your kicks off with it, but you might just find somebody who thinks it's just as cool, and you can actually work it in. You want to have a threesome, and you don't want a real person to be the third person, because there's a lot of things that go on with that. You got to be really comfortable with your partner, yourself, and the situation in order to do it. But that's a topic for another time. But this works, and you could put her or him away or mix them up. You could, if you have a male and a female doll and you want them to do things and you want to try them, you can position them. It also goes for female on female, male on male. So it's really what you are looking for in that particular sex toy. Oh my goodness, I'm stumbling on my words. But, a lot of people want to, and it comes right down to this, a lot of people want to experience the physical and emotional intimacy, but have a difficult time, relating with the real life human who actually has a mind of their own and can if not all of the time, most of the time rebut, or that, the fact that they do have their own train of thought, their own opinion. A lot of people cannot interact with that, or they have difficulties with this. Is the way to either help you through that or totally take over in that part of your life, or that section that needs to be addressed. There is a huge stereotype that rich, old, fat, perverts have a closet full of sex toys, but that's not true. Everybody has thought about it. Just a few have acted on it, I'm assured. But the thing with the sex toy is it could go, the sex doll, it could go either way, where people preceive what the whole idea of that is, in not being it's helping them relate with maybe the opposite sex, maybe the same sex of what they actually are looking for in sexual pleasures. The problem with that is, yes, the doll doesn't suffer trauma of the breakup or have anxiety, but you will. And the problem with that is constantly just having that dollar on is you misconceive what reality is and what a real relationship is all about. And there becomes, if anything happens to the doll, there's this unhealthy relationship with that doll. So having them are fun, joyful, pleasurable. Problem with it is how far you go with it and how far it replaces the outside intimacies and interactions. So, and these are things that everybody should learn in life, because I know there are phobias when people don't leave the house, but there are also those who, with this, can cause that, whereas you're finding it, you don't ever have to leave your house, then you have difficulties actually, where you used to be active, you've become inactive, which is not a good thing either. So we're going to take a break here, and when we come back, we will continue on our topic of sex dolls. Yeah.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco, ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Welcome to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, with your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, welcome back. I hope you got that snack and that drink and are very comfortable, because we're going to continue on with our sex dolls. And this is a lovely topic, and thank you for tuning back in. Now, I know I had given some reasons as to why, some pros and cons regarding sex dolls, but one in particular is, you can buy this for an individual who is suffering from like a mental or physical handicap, and attracting the opposite sex or the same sex is very difficult for them. And buying these, you give them a bit of companionship. Again, this can always turn into the person only not being able to connect with reality at some point, but it is a good way for them to get over or at least address their handicap in ways to work with it sexually. Another reason is, everybody goes through it, gotta lose your virginity, and more times than none, the male counterpart will go out and pay for it. So if you want them to be safe, so you can buy this, you know that they're going to do it. They have their fun. They may be a little embarrassed, but I bet you when you're not home, they're definitely getting on it and mounting it. So think about it that way. Now there is a sex doll buying guide. Ooh. They come in all different sizes, all different types. It's not held only to the first inflatable doll ever produced, which is kind of somewhat generic, and I believe it only has like one hole. Nowadays, with the technology, the updated versions are much more intense, and the funny part about it is you can, get one for $200 and they range up, and they still look pretty realistic. There are ones that are half inflatable, and the other half of, particular parts of the body are not inflatable. And you can actually buy those on Amazon. I did not know that until I actually put in to get some good topic material and just get my facts straight on what is up and coming in the sex doll world. So, look, I know a lot, but there are some things I don't know, and I know things have changed over time. I am an old fart. Like I said, back in the day, it was only the male counterparts that will get a sex toy, and it's generally very generic, and it was the inflatable doll, which I believe is in a movie. And it's too funny because they do use that particular doll as the joke in the movie, and the fact that someone actually has one. So I haven't seen the real life one in a movie yet, and I'm sure it is there, and I will come across a movie that does have it. But for now, we are working on the who's, what's, why, and how's with sex dolls. Now, one of the biggest things out there, it's on the top of the list, is the materials and the design of the doll. They are considered one of the most complex sexual products on the market, which is very, good, because nowadays, I believe, actual human beings, if you want to call it that way, or real people, are actually sitting for the molds for these dolls. So they are extremely realistic, right down to the nipple, the vagina, the penis, every crease in the penis, every crease in the vagina. So it is quite an interesting thing. But there are two primary materials that they are made out of. One is silicone, and obviously it's durable, wear and tear, because if you're planning to use that doll a lot, that would probably hold up. But again, it is silicone, and they do break regardless of what they're made out of if you overuse them, I'm assured, or you're really too rough with them. And the other one is thermoplastic elastomer, which is more commonly known as TPE. Now, when I was talking about cock rings, there are cock rings that are made of that as well. Like I said, silicone is tougher and more heat resistant than the TPE, but the TPE is soft, and it feels incredibly lifelike. And, as with benefits with silicone, it comes with its own benefits, and it is all about the person purchasing them and using them. You could actually, there's some good things to this in material-wise, separating them out, is that silicone, you could take a hot bath with it. The TPE, you cannot do. Silicone, reiterating that it is more durable and easier to clean, especially since if you have a female, and you're going to be mounted in that vagina or that anus, that anal passageway, you need to basically be able to clean it out. The problem with the TPE in this particular instance is that it is more absorbent and it's not really able to be cleaned thoroughly. So that would, it can't be sanitized. So that would cause some infections for down the line if you are unable to clean that and you think that you have. So you might want to think about it. However, it is more touchable. I mean, you got to outweigh the good with the bad with that. And with what's out there, I was shown that there is a way to get around that with the silicone. So, the silicone is more rigid. So you got to really think about that. The TPE allows for the doll to, have the jiggles and the wiggles, touching the breast and the butt, that softness that you would get from an actual real life partner. And, it's another advantage to the TPE is it is affordable. However, buying them, just make sure that the cons that come along with it are such as that. But if you're not planning to go to town on it, go for it. Or if you are getting a male, it might be a little easier with a male doll made out of TPE than silicone, and a female made out of silicone with regards to that. Heaven only knows if you can mix the two materials. You probably can. This way you're getting silicone for the vagina, the anal passage, the anal, the mouth and everything like that. So it's easier to clean, but yet you get the realistic feel and ability of the TPE. So think about it. You might want to try them out, not get the top of the line right off the top. Another thing to consider is the size and weight. Everybody has their own attraction to their partner in different ways. Size-wise, look-wise, feel, what they're having to order. Big titties, small titties, big ass, small ass, tiny, tall. It comes in every shape, size, form, everything, even ethnicity. Like some people want a Caucasian, some people want an Asian, some people want African American. It goes right down the line, an Indian. You can actually pick these, by that to your perfect specifications that fit you. I mean, if that's what you like, you can design your doll in that manner. If you like big plump vaginas, you can order that. If you like big puffy lips and an open mouth that goes a little further back, you can order that. When it comes to the male dolls, it obviously is, if you want them ripped with the 6-pack and a big dong, you can order that. If you want a smaller size, you can order that. You want one that's a little, jiggly and flibbly around the love handles, order it. Tall, short, you name it. So if you want something that's easily pick upable for you, there you go. If you don't care and you're basically going to be doing all the work, there you go. The doll could just lay there, if that's what you want in, your doll. I mean, this, I mean, you got to think about it. The size of the doll will hinder the weight just like a human being. The only thing in difference is a human being moves on their own. So you got to think that through. Okay. So, they are always going to be, if you're going to get one with more taller or more meaty, bigger boobies or something, their torso is always going to be heavy. But then again, a real life human in that area will also be heavy. Again, a live human being can actually get up and move if you ask them that you're too heavy. Doll, you got to lift up yourself. So, and you got to make sure that you can store it. Clean it, store it, all that good stuff. All right, we're going to take another break. So replenish that drink, replenish that snack. Sit back down, get relaxed, and I'll be back because we're going to finish up our sex talk with sex dolls. And I want to go on to one of the sites, Sex Doll Love, because they actually they have it where you can just break it down and pick. They actually have it where you can. We'll talk about it when we get back. I'll meet you back here to talk more sex.
You really can't underestimate the importance of having the right creative work for your brand or your product. Whether it's a logo, a website, a book cover, or an ad campaign, you really need a quality design to make that big difference pop and deliver your overall engagement and success in a competitive market. That's where Design Crowd comes in. Design Crowd has over 750,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. They make crowdsourcing work for you. So if you need a logo or you're working on your creative branding, you can go to designcrowd.com and post a brief describing the design you need. And then within about 2 to 7 days, you'll receive up to over 100 different designs from designers around the world. Then you pick the best design and approve payment to the designer. So you're only paying for the design that you want. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of freelancing and out of crowdsourcing. And you don't have to be a huge company like Harvard Business School to use Design Crowd, although they have used it as well. You can start a project on Design Crowd for as little as $99. And if you go right now to designcrowd.com/health and wellness or enter the promo code health and wellness on their website, then our health and wellness listeners will receive up to $150 off of your design project. That's designcrowd.com/health and wellness or entering that promo code health and wellness.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. with your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, welcome back to the final portion of our show, where the topic is sex dolls. You know, reasons to buy them, goods and bads, out of everything. But most of all, just having fun with them. Now we were talking about different ways that you like your doll, where you can design it. One thing is the eye color, the hair, you can have it a certain, ethnicity. Okay. Both ways that works. But some people want different color eyes and hair. Now, as promised, these dolls, mind you, can be positioned the way you want them, because they are they're made to your prospects and have to work the way you want them to. What's the sense of getting them if you can't? You can probably have them where they squirt a little, or a way in which you can get them to do it. Don't know. I'm pretty sure they're out there. Now, as earlier talked about, they can be very expensive, but then again, depends on what you want, what's the specifics you want in that doll. You can get one that is affordable. Material has to do with that, and design. There are realistic dolls, which are now. There are torsos and mini sex dolls where you don't have a head, legs, and arms, but you have everything else that you want, which is easy for you to work with if you're just sitting there and masturbating. Exotic sex dolls, you name it. They're anatomically correct, big word for me, anatomically correct male sex dolls, and I'm sure they are females as well. So you want, when you actually get your doll in the mail to your specifications, inspect the doll, just like with any other product that you get. Unboxing, you might want to, make sure you go through the whole thing and there's no damage on the doll. Getting the doll ready. You might have an outfit for this doll. Put them in it. Set the mood. Have them sitting there. You can do what you want. Now, as I stated earlier, you can warm up the doll, and just be very careful, but you can warm them up so that this way, you could put them under a warm blanket for like 15 to 20 minutes and heat them up that way. Silicone can go into the water, so you might want to warm it up with a hot bath or a warm bath. Now, always use water-based lubes with your doll, because obviously they are chemicals. The doll's a chemical. You don't know which chemicals are going to interact. And then go and have some, fun. You can, positions and play are up to the provider or the owner. And then do clean up your doll after. It is a known fact that if you don't clean it correctly, especially what's going on there right now, you will get an infection if it is not sanitized and cleaned correctly. Just a thing to remember. And believe it or not, there are 5 sex dolls to buy in 2020 that are on the list. And they are in the categories of realistic, torso, exotic, male, and mini. Obviously, the best is the realistic doll. And one of the top sites is Sex Doll Genie. So, you can customize the body type and head, skin and eye color, all mentioned earlier in the show. Choose your hairstyle, choose your mouth, your breast, your nipple options, your vagina options. Now, remember, if you want to, use some BSDM. This you can do with this doll, which is pretty cool because they're not going to be extremely hurt. Although, if you want some reaction, obviously do ask a partner and make sure the communication is there and a safe word. So let's go on to this website. I know I also said Sex Doll Love, which we will look into. We're going to go on to Sex Doll Genie and see what we got on there. Now, this is Sex Dolls 101, mind you. I'm sure there are people out there that have had a sex doll for a very long time and are basically pros at it. And probably have more than one sex doll. So, that's a big thing. So, let's see what we got. Let's start with the first one on their list, which is Ooh La La Dolls. So let's go in and see what they have. And actually, they got a code there that you can get. And you get two, buy one head, you get a second head free. Ooh, okay, that's different. So now, it's a trip to how you can watch these and do them. Now you have first one off the list. They have it where the doll is only 5'2", and they have a medium cup. So boob size, important. If you like them bigger, go for it. Then they start going up, and so doesn't the price, mind you. As the doll goes up in size, the more the money. Now, on this website, the dolls are somewhat priced in the 1,000 and above area. I'm assured that getting a smaller sized doll off the website would be cheaper. They have a lot that are sold out, believe it or not. You can get them with big nipples, big areolas, big hips, big everything. So tiny waist, big hips. No need to second guess yourself on what you like. And they are realistically looking. So you can have, I'm sure they come with little like outfits or something, or you could just get it naked. Just make sure that if you have an outfit that you want them to see, I'll be in and dressed in, just have it ready. You can also play with your sex doll with a dildo. I mean, if that's something that you want to watch. And these are in all different, there's even cosplay with hair and all. And I actually know the doll as the cosplay. And so they are right down to it. They're not exactly, I don't think this website is as easy to navigate through. But let's click on one and see what we get. Come on. Apparently it doesn't want me to click on it. I like going through these and looking at them and seeing what they are because I learned something new just like you guys do. So, this one's pretty big. Now, some of the options for which you can this one actually has one more than I've seen on the other website, which is, now there's a lot of free options that you can put with this. Customize your hairstyle is a free option. The eye color, these are all free options with the doll. Skin color, fingernails, believe it or not. Lips and lips color. The areola size, I've already said that. And the color. You can customize your breast to look like they sag or to be tiny but perky. That's completely up to you. This is the positive to getting one of these because you can make it the way you want it. Vagina type. If you want it big labia, big lips, deep, open, or you want it small and tight like a virgin, you can do that. Toenail color comes with this one as well. You want to match You want a girl who takes care of their nails and their toenails, gets those manicures and pedicures, you can have it pre-made for you. Customize the feet. If you like, women with big feet, that is an option you can pick. There are now the customization of the feet is an add-on, as well as additional accessories, which would be the transgender penis. Like I said, if you wanted differences and you wanted both sexes in one, but you want the overall body to be a female, this is your choice, and they will put that on there. They also have protective cases that you can have, but you do have to pay for those. The skeleton type is the kind, you have to pay for that, and other things like pubic hair and vagina pattern. I'm assured if you had a female or a male that you liked the way theirs felt, that they probably have it a way where they can send this to you. You can mold it and you can have them make that on the doll. It does not come with pubic hair, as reasons I really don't know. But hey, it is an option. It just will cost you a little more. So, mind you, this is one doll, but they have seriously all kinds, and you get to pick and choose to your type, preference, in every which way possible. That could be your perfect woman, your perfect guy, your perfect transgender. It doesn't matter. It's your perfect partner. Doesn't care what size, shape, and form they come in. You make it the way you want it. And like I said, if you have a partner and they are into it, pick one out together. You can probably buy a male and a female and go about it that way, where it is safe for the both of you, but you're getting out of it what you would have wanted out of somebody else. But you're not ready to go that full way down that line. You're uncomfortable. This is a way to do it. And go and halvesies with it. With you and your partner to get it, that's perfect. So, do consider those. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of my show. And as always, thank you for tuning in. And as always, again, practice safe sex. If not for your partner, for you. Very, very important. Stay safe in our COVID-19 situation here. And I know we are all in the house. And however, they are starting to lift some bans. So still do be careful, because it is still a threat. And I thank you for tuning in. I look forward to talking about more sex with you in my next segment. So, bye for now.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.